and welcome back to the World Under-24 Ultimate Championships here in Perth, Western Australia. It's a beautiful sunny day, and the next game we have up on the live stream is the Philippines versus Singapore in the women's division. I'm Katie Locke, and crossing over to our commentary booth now, we have Rob Swan and Claire Hussey.
Thank you very much, Katie. We are feeling happy to be here this morning. Day 3, as you said. How are you feeling, Rob?
Good. I'm really excited for this game. This is going to be a really good matchup. The conditions here haven't changed a bit. The wind feels ever so slightly lighter today, but it's only going to pick up as we get later into the day. The heat is absolutely present, but I'm sure these two teams are both used to it.
Absolutely. They are coming from warm climates, muggy atmospheres, a bit fresher here maybe for them. Nice bit of a breeze coming through. Two very new teams on the young ultimate scene. The Philippines women have not entered a junior tournament before. It's the first ever women's Philippines team went to World Ultimate Championships in 2016, but they have not appeared at a youth-based tournament yet.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's great to see them breaking out of the scene here. Women's Ultimate has been exploding recently in Singapore. They've first attended, this is also their first attendance at a youth division, but a number of these players on this team were attending the World Ultimate and Guts Championships with the Open Age women's team in 2016 with the Singapore team then.
Great. I think the Philippines women's team here have got a lot of support from their senior team, the Beanie Beanies, and I know that they're rooting for them in every game at this tournament. So far, the Philippines women have not won a game, but I imagine that they will be gunning for it in this spectacular live streamed game we have. The pull is up, and we have Singapore on it.
It's their first shot at it. All right, coming into a loose horizontal set here. Philippines coming with a zone defense straight off the bat. Singapore working well through the handler. Yi Kim with the disc here. Nice slicing and dicing movement here, taking the easy options, not forcing anything. Yi Kim with the disc, anchoring this offense through the center.
Zone looking a little bit looser than we've been used to on the live stream so far due to the smaller stature of the two Asian teams here.
Playing positionally very well. Oh, and that is a clinic. That's an amazing score for the Singaporean women's team. That's a great opener. That's what they're going to be looking to do all the way. I don't know that there was a single pressured pass in there. It looked like they were moving well, creating space for themselves, and just taking the options that they had. I think you're right in noting that the zone could be a decent bit looser. There's a lot of ground to cover, and they were a little bit spaced out. I think it was their attacking movement from behind the disc from Lee and Yi Kim to just generate that forward momentum, constantly forcing that zone defense to be resetting and adjusting, and that's how they're opening up holes.
Yeah, they looked pretty at ease around that zone. Let's see how Philippines go on offense now. Got players from all over the Philippines. The Philippines are made up of around 7,000 islands, which poses a challenge to their training regime. They've got to all come together to work on their skills together, and I think that they've only really managed to do that since November, the Philippines team.
It's always going to make it difficult.
Yeah.
Singapore opting for a zone as well here.
Gonzalez on the disc. She found a backward one to Weber. And then just a bit of a fumble there.
That's the first turnover of the game. Gives Singapore a chance to go the other way. Philippines opting for a one-on-one match defense here.
Nice noisy sideline.
Singapore working with isolation.
Oh, great block!
Nice,
She
well
read
read.
Number 44, Giannina Escasa. Giannina Escasa. What a nice block. She's the youngest player. She's only 17 years old. Youngest player on the Philippines team. She's now upfield, hoping to receive a disc through the zone that's been put on there. And we've got a bit of an intruder to the field in one of those sort of head umbrella things. Game advisor coming to help remove that.
That'll be a violation call, and we'll just get back to it.
Escasa again with the disc. She's young, but she is brave. Getting in there, not feeling flustered by this big game opportunity. Live streamed to the world. There she is again. She's working it there with Gachango. We've got a high one. Who's going to pull it down? Philippines get on the end of that. Jaspio finds it. And now with Rodil, the captain, who jacks one. Can Philippines run it down? Not quite! Nearly, Jaspio nearly got that. She's all over the field.
That's a great shot. They're really looking for her there, and then that's the kind of big leading blade that they're looking at. Like, it's a great zone breaker there. Just a little too far, but I don't think it's a strategically wrong decision. It's something I'd like to see more of.
Yeah, you just pointed out to me there, Rob, that you noticed that Rodil, the captain, was being assassinated during that defensive option. Whoa! That Sam Jaspio again, getting in there with the D. She read that disc, intercepted. And Philippines are on the edge of their own zone. Can they keep their cool and slot this one in? Yes, they can.
That was close.
That's the captain, Rodil, getting the goal.
Yeah, Singapore playing interesting defense there. They were playing a zone defense, but so all of them marking an area, 3 players around the cup, 3 of them spaced out downfield. And the 7th player, just 1-on-1, matched up against Rodil, captain. Obviously considering quite a big threat.
One all now.
Dedicating a player to marking her and the rest of the marking area. Interesting strategy there. Often referred to as an assassin.
Just fixing up the score. 1-1. Philippines with the pull.
It's landing short, but it's rolling well.
It's made it to the brick mark. They'll be happy with that. And they've reset their zone.
Su Lee with the disc here. The zone's looking a lot tighter. Singapore doing same sort of movement, resetting through the handlers. Oh, that's a brilliant dump backwards for a swing. Open up a hole for a shut-up field to Chua.
Just got De Leon deep on defense.
He came with the disc now. Reset. Here calls of man from the sideline. They're transitioning to a 1-on-1 match defense. Nice run. Tan runs that one down, swings it back inside. Short passes here. Working with their athleticism to get open. Back to Yi Kim. Just on the sideline. Ooh, looks off that easy pass. Takes a dump backwards. That is a clinical dump swing score. Well, not quite in yet. Bit of chat, have a look. Nice. A great around break throw for the goal there. It's a real clinical offense from Singapore. Take them up 2-1.
Yeah, and really good composure after that brief stoppage. It can be difficult to keep your flow when there's been a little stoppage in play right on the edge of the end zone. And just for a bit of a closer perspective, we'll pop down to Katie on the sideline.
Hey guys, I just want to make a bit of a comment on the difference in the zone offense between the Filipino and the Singapore teams. I think we're showing the experience of the Singapore line, how much ease they're working through that zone, and they don't really have to do any risky options, whilst in contrast the Filipinos had to go with some really wide swings and even some sort of blade arounds just to try get through that zone and punch through it. So yeah, I think that's just a comment I've noticed from the sideline. Back to you.
Thanks, Katie.
It's always good to have additional perspective. I think that was something that we were looking at as well. I think during the Filipinos team, loving those over-the-top shots. There was a couple extra blades. It's always an aggressive strategy going downwind. Hasn't really hurt them yet. They were able to get that one back off a quick block, but they've got a short field to work with here. Singapore coming down in what looks like a one-on-one match defense here, so see if they can work this one in.
Gonzalez to Rodil. Working cross field. And back in the other direction, but read by the Singaporean defense.
And there's a great one. That's again that big over-the-top flick that they're looking for, but well read, well cut out. Oh.
Another great read on D there. Jessica Resch of the Philippines getting a run through.
Receiver stopped to receive that disc and never stop. Always keep going to it or someone will come and block it.
That's right. Sam Gonzalez on the disc. Oh, picks out a player who doesn't get a hand to it, but the backup is there. And cheekily pops one into the front corner. Bit of a fumble, but a successful catch. Philippines bringing the score level again.
Yeah, interesting work from the Philippines here. Pretty similar style of point to the last one. Big attacking shots and didn't come off quite as they wanted the first time, but getting that block back and able to put it in on a short field. Singapore looking to go downwind again. See if they can pull out another one without a turnover.
Yeah, I think Singapore needs to be careful not to underestimate the speed and read of the Philippines team. They're looking a little bit casual with their choices. They probably have a few more open shots than they are looking at the moment, and should maybe consider their throws just a little bit before they stick them forward to let the Philippines get their run-throughs.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to see the difference between the Singaporean offense and their defensive offense after a turn. So this is their offense line starting, and Frisbee hasn't turned it yet. If they can put this one in without a turn, that'll be just a clinic. Put themselves in a really good position. Then on defense, they've got to get a block and convert there, which they haven't managed to do yet. Lee with the disc. Singapore in a very deep horizontal set here. 3 cutters, 4 handlers back. Sorry, 4 handlers, 3 cutters. Moving up the sideline there. Lee with the disc. Oh, nice leading pass there. She's got to play it deep. Elects not to take it. Finds Yi Kim near the sideline here. Amazing. Pops it over to Lee. She's there. Just knocking on the door here. Back to Lee. She hasn't got a lot of options. Oh, and squeezes one through to Suli. And that's another turnover-free offensive hold for the Singaporean women.
That Singaporean offense line has got their stuff together.
Yeah, I think they're very patient with their shots. I mean, those 3 handlers behind with those 4 cutters in that deep spaces, opening up a lot of space under, but can generally make it hard to take a long time to generate a good cut. But handlers content to be patient with the disc, working amongst themselves, and then taking those open options where they're there.
The Philippines have been on the sideline. This line that's just gone on. They've been having a good old strat chat around the clipboard. They have a coach whose name is Bullet Dumas, which I quite like, and I will hope to see a few well-placed bullets that can be pulled down in this game.
Absolutely. The Filipinos team has the throwing prowess and the athleticism to be reeling those in. Singapore defense coming down like lightning here, dropping into this zone.
Oh, just a miss throw there. She was aiming for something, but didn't come out intended. That was Gabby Rodell, the captain.
It's that a little more than expected. Singapore coming with a short field here. 2 handlers and 1 cutter out in isolation. Sim with the disc. Finds a nice inside break. Continue. Oh, and that's a huge grab.
Lovely.
Lim with an absolutely athletic play. Resets the disc safely. Sim, another inside break. Ah, Lau unable to reel that one in.
And Philippines have made a strike deep, but there was no one on the disc early enough to make that option, take that option, but that's all good. They're working it another way. Oh, number 2, Sam Gonzalez sneaking it through there. Looking confident here. Fast, controlled, aware. They look like they've got their wits about them right now. Swinging that disc around. They're not letting the Singapore defense settle, but just...
That's really good pressure, I think.
Yeah,
So the Singapore zone was really spread. They were trying to cover a lot of ground. They couldn't really settle in or do anything, but this one was in the area, saw that pass coming and was able to put enough pressure on to make it happen. Singapore again in this horizontal set. 3 handlers behind, 4 cutters upfield.
Just resetting after the pick.
Nice leading pass there. There's a long shot option. Doesn't take that one going upwind. Pretty aggressive pass. A nice swing around. Lau with the disc here. Moving well with Sandy. Finds an inside pass. Oh, and then aggressively moving up the break side here. Oh, and that one's just a little too long. Just over the head of a receiver. That Singaporean move to get that quick inside break and then move it up that backhand break side is working really, really well for them. Just slight throwing execution errors.
Sam Gonzalez picking up, one of the regular disc picker-uppers. Moving it to the sideline where Singapore will be happy to have put them. Hard to get it off there. They've done it. Swung it round.
This is where they want to set their trap. The zone closing. Oh, great break.
Yeah, Isabel Weber's happy to break all day long. She's lefty. Can Weber bring this down? She doesn't need to. Her teammate's there for her.
Oh, pressure building here.
They've gone for the forward option, sensible. And a lovely but incomplete crossfield to the end zone. They'll be disappointed with that after a great run of offensive disc movement.
Yeah, that was a great play there. We're stuck in the sideline there. The Singaporean zone was clamping down. That's where the zone is strongest because you can only have to cover half as many directions. But then a nice play to break it out and a beautiful crossfield, just slightly misread by a receiver as Sim goes to pick up the disc. Singapore with another shot for a break.
Oh, big bit on D there. Escassa again. And we've got a shot to the zone, but it just popped over the top. Sometimes when it's windy like this, the mere presence of a body can affect the flight of the disc, and it looked like it was dropping down to Sam Jaspio in the zone, but her physical force just made the disc fly over her head and put it out of reach.
Any other day, that's a goal. That's a great look,
Sure.
a great throw to space, unguarded player. Just a slight bit of wind there. Singapore calls a timeout. Interesting to see here, this Singaporean defense is doing really, really well. Got Katie locked down on the field with some insight there.
I actually have an update from the field next to ours for those who are interested. USA versus Germany mixed, 3-3. USA were down a couple of points, but they come back to equalise. Back to you, Rob.
Interesting, a bit around the grounds. USA obviously one of the dominant teams. Interesting to see whether or not they will pull it out. Back to the action here. It's interesting to see. I want this Singapore team to be able to go upwind here. It's a bit difficult. The throws are not quite coming up. They're working really, really well with their handler set and able to recycle the disc well there. But often it's difficult for their cutters to gain a lot of separation. These Filipino defenders are right on the hips, coming through with incredibly athletic plays, putting a lot of pressure on these receptions, and they've found the turnovers there. So this Singaporean cutter is going to be working out how to get that extra meter of separation on this possession and push it upwind.
Singapore, looks like the Singapore men's team on the sideline here, warming up with a bit of throwing. They're here to support their fellow country people.
Coming out of the timeout, the offense gets into position and sets first, and then the defense sets after that. Singaporeans setting up in this horizontal stack with one of the handlers quite close. A lot of space open there for a wide swing.
Jessica Resch on the mark.
And they found that inside break.
Oh, Resch just tricked there by a very cheeky handle cut.
And that's a long shot, and she's reading this one well. Just out the front. Look to me.
Okay, went in. Yeah.
Looks like that foot might have been down, and they've called it a goal. That is an upwind break for Singapore. It takes them up 4-2. Beautiful huck. Well read. Oh, it looks like that back foot was up just in time. First point of contact was in the end zone. And that's an upwind break for Singapore. That's what they'll be looking for here. That's what's going to win them these games. It's much easier to go downwind, so getting a block and then putting it in is exactly the kind of difference maker that they're going to be looking for. Extend out their lead, not just trading points, 1-1-1-1-1-1-1. They've now got a 2-point lead, and they're back on defense here, going downwind. It's exactly where they want to be.
Yep. The Philippines women come from a lot of different club teams. They've got some really great names, including Sid Vicious. I wonder if they're Sex Pistols fans. Gonzalez. Rodil. Puts one deep to 44. Can she make it? Just out of reach for Escassa.
Does look like an absolute giant ball. It's a great option. Athletic receiver on the end. You back them in and see if they can make that play.
Yeah, you want to make your youngest players run as much as possible. They've got the most juice in their legs, for sure. I mean, they're all young players out here, but some definitely younger than others.
Singapore opening for that inside break again. Oh. And that'll be a strip called. Looked like it was still on her hand as the defense came through.
Nice close work from Jaspio, but easily sorted out.
Back in. Chua resets nicely. In the center here. Lim with the disc. Oh, and there's a long shot goes up. She's got to play under it. Oh, but that's just pushed to the left. Just out of the reach of Kwek. Couldn't quite reel that one in. Singapore back on defense here. They're playing quite an interesting zone. It's not quite a traditional zone with a lot of players up front, but it's handler marking, one-on-one marking the captain, and then 2 players guarding lanes.
And it's nearly paid off, but Philippines running through on the break side now. Everyone's signaling there's a call. The waving arms, it's not indicating a drowning person in the Perth wild seas, but just that there's been a call made and most of the players haven't noticed.
All right, looks like it's a contested foul on the throw. Contested stall out is the signal from there. It's true, the disc was there for a while. And the Filipinas player saying that she threw it before the T of 10 was uttered. It looked like they'll reset, bring the disc in, stalling 9.
Oh, she's opted for a timeout, giving herself a moment to think about a plan with only 2 stall counts left on the stall.
Yeah, so when the disc is tapped in now after that timeout, they'll say stalling 9, 10. And then as soon as they say 10, that's a stall out. So not a lot of time at all to get this throw off here. But timeout's going to give the Philippines the opportunity to set up a play to ensure the execution here. Katie Locke's down on the sideline here. What have you got for us?
Hey guys, I just had a chat to one of the coaches from the Singapore team, and he was just giving me some background information on their selection process and training. So they did their selections 8 months ago, and it was an open selection. It wasn't invite only like some countries do, just to give them a chance to see a wide variety of players, and they tested them on a variety of skills. Interestingly enough, the majority of their training was actually on their technical ability, so things like footwork, throws, and mini games. They didn't really get into the bulk of full game structures and offensive, defensive structures until the last couple of months of training. So that's just some background information, and we're going back onto the field now. Thanks very much, guys.
Appreciate it. It's interesting to see the different countries and their different selection processes. Often bigger countries like the USA and Australia have an invite-only selection process, and still with hundreds of players attending those.
And yes, I can see that the Philippines team are very technically good, and they're just working out their team structure.
1 second to complete this pass here. And it's turned over. Interesting decision to call a timeout there rather than throw it long immediately. As Zulfliki goes to pick up the disc. And then we're back in. 79, Chua working away up line there. Nice, getting open, resetting to Zulfliki. Finding that open player. Oh, might have been a pick. Players will just have a chat as whether or not this has affected. It looked like the player defending the Singaporean who called the goal was still able to play defense, but they'll reset the disc. Oh, and that's a beautiful around break. That's what they're looking for here. A nice, easy score. Lim takes it away there. That's great defense from the Singaporeans to punish that timeout from the Philippines and to go up 5-2.
Philippines need to find something here to keep close on the scoreboard. They need to execute a plan.
They're going downwind here, so they can have a clean offensive hold down into the wind, bring that difference back to 2, then they have a shot at getting a break. So this Singaporean team, great around throws, great movement, looking like they're playing through quite a well-drilled structure. So their offensive consistency is not a surprise to me. Just the Philippines team are going to need to match this if they're going to be able to start getting breaks and start really not let the game slip away from them. It's early days yet, still only 5-2, still plenty of time in this 100-minute game as we're approaching the 30-minute mark.
That's right. Pull comes down. Bailong gets the disc in play. De Leon on the disc. Trevino. Yeah, happily moving this around and go for the ping. Oh, great pressure from Singapore there. Made a bit of contact.
She might be calling a foul. It's interesting to see whether that is effective watch play. From my perspective up here, it may have looked like she attempted the catch and was unable to reel it in before the contact occurred. That does not mean that it's not a foul, though.
And the beauty of Ultimate is that we can sort this out with the players and a little bit of help from game advisors, just giving their perspective, echoing information.
A reminder of the technical intricacies of the rule there, and looks like the perspective differed. So it's a contest and it's going back. Nice throw, though.
Yeah. Back with Bailong.
They're just quickly discussing where the defensive player was set when the throw went up and what the stall count is, and we're in.
Bailong looks for another option, finds up the line. De Leon moves it on. And a nice swing with a dramatic catch. Very nice athletic catch there. Nastis on the disc. Ooh, just a little bit eager there with that throw. That's been taken away with the wind a little there. Need to just reel it in. But Philippines are on D in a difficult place for Singapore. So let's see what they can do to slam it where they want it and possibly get another goal.
Singapore with a long way to go here, coming in on the cone, going upwind. Managed to break it out. This Filipino zone is pretty intimidating. Lau with the disc, generaling this offense. Moving around nicely. Tim present as well.
Santos working hard on the mark, having a look around, seeing where the threats are.
Resetting backwards to Sim again. She's not got a lot of options. She's got an open player, but that's a long shot.
Oh, and there's the D that they wanted. What great teamwork to find that block. De Leon. Faking to try and move that defender. Finds an option. Goes again to get it back. She's ready. She wants this.
Oh, and that's a brilliant...
But, oh.
That's a great defensive stand from Singapore there. Philippines knocking on the door. Not giving up, not standing. And Jamie Lim getting that block. Singapore with a long way to go and a lot of defenders in the way. See if they can extend their lead here. They need to be taking some aggressive shots, and there they come.
Oh.
Jamie Lim underneath that one. Oh, shoots long again.
De Leon trying to catch up on D, let that play go a little.
It's got Hazelton with a disc. Resets nicely, this one with a disc. Nice, Singapore with a patience here. This is what they're looking for. Lau generaling the offense.
Philippines gone back to match defense.
Quick. Just out the front now. Lau with the disc. Looking for this scoring opportunity, wanting to be patient. Good resetting, this good discipline. Position here is absolutely valuable. Jamie with a disc. Oh, and that's an amazing bid. What a score. This one with a score to take the Singapore up 6-2.
Philippines looking disappointed at that, as they should be. They had the disc where they wanted it with that great block at their end zone, but they just, second time around, couldn't stop Singapore from working it up and getting that sixth goal.
Amazing work from Jamie Lim to receive that aggressive pass up the sideline and then continue that with another long gainer. Singapore have called a timeout here. It's an interesting one. I like the mental game of this timeout. Singapore are fired up, ready. They've had a lot of success. They're doing well. And the Filipino team have just unable to put that one in. Not quite with the discipline and the patience to find the calm scoring opportunity there. And now they just have to stew in it for the rest of the timeout. Katie Lockstein on the sideline. What have you got for us?
Hey guys, just a quick correction on that. It was the Filipino team who decided to call that timeout. Seems like their energy has lacklustered a little and they seem to be a bit disappointed with their performance last couple of points. So I think they probably just need that timeout to fill the tank, re-energize, re-strategize and come back firing on this next point on offense. Back to you.
Yeah, thanks, Katie. That's right. It's tricky thing in Ultimate is not just playing well for stretches of time, but maintaining throughout a whole point. You need to be able to finish what you've started. You can't half bake a cake. So Philippines will look to be watching the baking soda rise in this next point, and we'll hope to get a nice up window, being consistent all the way through the whole length of that deliciously long green field.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. Often the cuts are different, the spaces are different when you're just outside the end zone. There's no deep looks there. There's less space to look in. You want to be scoring quickly, but can't be rushed. This pull goes up from Sherrilton. Philippines with a chance to go upwind here and stop the bleeding. Singapore coming down in a big poachy defense here.
Oh, goes for the crossfield. Got popped up by the wind and taken down.
Sherrilton with a pull and then with a block off straight away. Singapore looking to go the other way. Sandy with a disc. Swings it to the center. Oh, that's a great throw. She's looking. Oh, this is Patience out the front. Nice. Oh, amazing. What presence of mind from the captain, Zulflicki, to look off that leading pass and then take a nice break for an easy grab. That leading pass, it looks like they've got 1.5 meters of separation. They're on the run. It's a tempting look, but it's a leading pass. It's going downwind. It's a tiny wind to be throwing into. Better to fake that, pull the mark around, and then get a nice break goal to a waiting receiver there.
Yeah, the Philippines obviously had that timeout and they didn't manage to come back and execute the next goal, but they're still looking very unified. The whole of the team went on after that point to get together, tap each other on the back, show each other their support, you know, really demonstrate their team unity. And I think this will pay off if they manage to get a goal on the board here before they let Singapore get half time.
It's going to be interesting to see what sort of defense the Singaporeans bring out here. The Philippines having an issue with this Singaporean zone. It's a really spaced out. 2 players up on the handlers, 2 players in the midfield, 2 players in the deep, and then a third just sort of floating around. So difficult to work with, some weird spaces, but this Singaporean pool hasn't gotten much distance. It's given the Filipino team a short field to work with, albeit coming in on the sideline.
Just a quick score update from the women's division. There's a game going on, Australia versus Colombia. Colombia are up 7-5 at the moment. It's going to be a close game. Okay, Philippines coming in on offense. On the sideline, close to the end zone. Finds 25 and an easy goal from Rodil to Escasa, the youngest player, once again showing her skills. Philippines needed that goal and they'll be happy with that.
That's good. That brings it just to a 4-point deficit. 7-3 to Singapore. They've still got a nice lead. Wouldn't call it comfortable, but they thus far have been the stronger force in this game, and It's very difficult to play defense when they've got such a short field to work with. I think the distance on these upwind pulls is really going to make a difference on whether or not teams are going to be able to slot it in. Singaporeans having a great success so far, stopping the Filipino offense going downwind. But with a short field like that, there's not a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, you can't underestimate the power of a good pull. There's a lot of different things that can happen with a pull, and one of the things that you pretty much want every time is distance. So they'll want to make sure that they don't let a short pull come out again.
Let's see how this Filipino pull goes up. And it's the Singaporeans going downwind, looking to take half. That's a short one, but it's rolling nicely. Reaching halfway. Great stop from the Singaporeans. Catherine Lee picking up the disc here. Send us to Geraldine Lee. Sue Lee with the disc. Oh, great securement from Geraldine Lee. See Lee in the center there. Tan with the disc. Back to C. Lee. Oh, great grabs, great athleticism, difficult defense.
Great bid from Muscasa previously.
Great breakthroughs coming out from this Singaporean team. Opening up the space, that's an inside shot. She's got to go all the back. Oh! That's an extraordinary bid. Lee off the back there, doing everything she could. Might have got a hand to that one. Wasn't quite able to reel that in. Singaporeans doing very well, opening up a lot of space. Oh, just got a hand to that.
Philippines back on O with a sweet break. Oh, just maybe touched on that, but snuck through. Loving their breakthroughs. Weber. Just be sir.
Oh, it's maybe thinking about the next pass. Singapore off and running. Moving the disc early, not giving the Filipinos a chance to recover. A lot of players behind the disc still for Singapore, and they're moving through. They're nearly now where they want to be. Catherine Lee with the disc. Resets. Oh, it's just a bit too far. Geraldine Lee missed half a step there, and that was just enough.
Philippines are close on the back on defense, which is making the Singapores push their throws a little bit. So good tactic there. The Philippines have quite a bit of pace on them, so they're sticking tight. They're not going for the under, taking out the unders, but they're staying tight to get run-throughs. Philippines on offense. De Leon. Weber. Break to Jaspio. Searching for her dump. Finds her. Gives enough air on that throw to give time for De Leon to pick that up with a nice layout. Another break, right on the edge of the field.
Very
now.
well towed.
Rodil.
Singaporean player indicating that it was in. She saw that. Great spirit there.
This is Philippines captain.
Just like a pick in the stack or reset. Players around the disc just having a quick chat about what the stall's coming in on.
She's got a dump ready if she needs, but she's looking upfield and finds a little hole, but it was not big enough.
Geraldine Lee coming in with the athleticism there, read that perfectly. Was able to snatch that up. Catherine Lee picking up the disc. Resets to Sue Lee. Advancing up the sideline here. Resets backwards, still on the sideline. Catherine Lee with the disc now. Sue Lee in the center. Going wide in the center here, looking for a break. And that's just a miscue on those handler resets. Philippines picked up the disc, they're looking to strike early.
She's done the full circle pivot, a favorite maneuver of mine, but it didn't come off her that time. Didn't have the legs on that throw.
Yi Kim with a great read on the defense there. Singaporeans going the other way. Players looking tired. This has been a marathon point. Deep strike's not coming as fast as they need, but Singaporeans moving fast down the side of that field. Pace slowing now. Oh, great grab and go. Lee with the disc now. Goes back to the center, finds Catherine Lee. Doing all the throwing. Oh, amazing grab. Geraldine Lee on the doorstop here.
Kachango on the mark.
Oh, resets to Catherine Lee. Looks for that break option. There's a lot of traffic.
Oh.
And unable to reel that one in. That's tough. They've worked through the whole way there and just, that's getting rushed. Trying to score in a tiny space. It's important to space out your offense and continue playing disciplined, even right out the front.
It's hard not to get sucked into those end zone jitters. We've got Rodil on the disc. Lovely break. Sweet grab from Jaspio. She doesn't have something that she wants,
Oh, and
she's
that is
gone
a
for the hut, but
unbelievable hand block. Catherine Lee there saw the big open side fake, knew that the count was high and a big shot was coming, jumped across and got a full arm in the way of that disc. That's a great defensive read and it's resulted in a block there. And then Singapore calls a timeout so they can collect themselves.
yeah, that was a sensible timeout because Lee would be pumped after that. And if she's planning on picking up the disc, which she did, she might not have quite enough control to then keep the O safe after such a huge hand block. So just time for a little shout out. Toyota Netherlands, City Toyota Netherlands, they've been very generous in providing courtesy vehicles to our volunteers, our 100+ team of volunteers. Obviously, we don't have a vehicle for each of those people, but they've provided enough to help with the most important people.
It's been an exciting point, this one. Been a real marathon here, but it's going to see how we go off the end. Oh, amazing blocks from both teams here. Geraldine Lee able to read that one. Singaporean defense. Blocks are coming not quite from their amazing athleticism, although that's obviously putting them in the position to succeed here, but it's just their read of the play. I think they've seen what the Philippines team are looking to get, and they've just read those and cut those passes out, put themselves in the right position early, and that's where the blocks are coming from. The Philippines team, just deadly fast, deadly quick, cutting out any opportunity here. The Singaporean team sets their offense. Very heavy on this close side here. I put my money on a big break side shot going. Catherine Lee with the disc is a strong thrower. She's got a dump. Oh, it's a bit floaty.
Ooh, unmarked player, but could not manage to complete. Let's see what Philippines can do with this. De Leon picking up.
Oh, and that's an amazing block. Geraldine Lee all over the place here. Blocks left, right, and center. Oh, and there she goes. Oh, and she throws that goal. That's amazing. Doing it on both sides of the disc for this Singaporean team. What a superstar. Amazing.
Now, Rob, I just want to have a quick chat about Uranus.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how's Uranus feeling?
It's pretty good. It's a very comfortable planet. It's pretty far from the sun, pretty cold. Not quite as far as Pluto, but, you know, Pluto's not a planet. Never should have been.
Well, I wasn't talking about that Uranus, Rob. I was actually talking about the team that number 21 from Philippines plays for. Her name is Bai Leong, and she's the only player from that team. I don't know much about them, but if she is anything to represent them, then I expect they're pretty handy.
Absolutely. It's interesting to see that a lot of these players, because they come from different clubs, different areas, they're often guiding stars or the best of the best from around their country. So differing players from different clubs is truly like an all-star team from each of these countries. And the combined talents really getting it done here.
Yeah, the other teams represented on the Philippines lineup, Sid Vicious, SP White and SP Black, presuming they're the same club, just different, maybe an XY split. And then there's Young Blood.
Yeah, a lot of these teams would have been present at the Asia Oceanic Club Championships earlier this year.
Yep.
I was fortunate enough to attend that tournament. I played against a number of those teams, obviously not in the women's division, but they were there. And a lot of these clubs have a men's team and a women's team. Helps for training together and socializing and club culture and lots of those things and skill sharing. And it's really great to see the development of a lot of these clubs. I think Havoc Ultimate is a Singaporean club that was extremely well represented there. They were in the final and put in a very strong showing against the reigning Japanese national champions, Huck, who were there. Put in a strong showing in the final and goes to show that why so many of these Singaporean players are so skilled and so strong and why they're representing their country so well today.
Yeah. Just want to have a little chat about the WFDF Sport for All and Development Commission. They're doing a drive to collect surplus equipment or spare equipment from players, things such as discs, cleats, other training and playing aids, so that they can be donated for other clubs which are in need of those items. So if you've got anything spare kicking around that you don't need and you're feeling generous, then bring it along to the WU24 information tent, which is just along from the VC merchandise tent. You can bring it anytime during the tournament or on the finals day. You can donate your items and give it an extra kick of life and, you know, give a bit back to Ultimate. It's given so much to you so far, even at your young ages. Or if there's any supporters that have any that you don't want, bring that along. Share the love. Sounds like a great program. Okay, we'll just leave you with a few replays. Be back with you very shortly for the second half of Philippines versus Singapore in the women's division.
Thank you. Thanks for really giving me a good one there. Yeah, Huss, you ready? Yes. Welcome back. We're here ready for this second half. of the Singaporean versus Filipinas women's game here at World Under-24 Ultimate Championships in Perth, Western Australia. It's been a cracker of a game thus far. The Singaporeans really putting on a clinic. It's 7-8-3 now. Singaporeans just haven't taken half. And they're doing a great job here. They've really been able to consistently work the Filipino defense, move the disc laterally across the field and find those holes where they are and take the opportunities they've been given. The Filipino team struggling going upwind, especially against this Singaporean zone. It's quite a poachy defense look, spacing out their players. And the Singaporeans with a really good read on the play, able to anticipate the movement of the Filipinos and get those blocks. Filipinos not at all out of it though. They're absolutely a very skilled, very athletic team here. A few changes in strategy, changes in direction. Absolutely see them explode out of halftime. Anything could happen here.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Philippines come back. They've got a small hill to climb, but they're no strangers to hills, I imagine. It's
going to be interesting to see what changes they bring, what they can do. The Singaporean team looking quite strong as they're going upwind here, looking to extend their lead. Filipino team coming down on offense, going downwind. They'll want to put this one in clean and easy. Get some momentum going out of halftime as that roller pool comes down, settles about halfway.
Resh makes her way deep. Handlers get their positions. Ready to work around this zone. Gonzalez. Oh, an early turn.
Oh, amazing by Jamie Lim. She's been all over the place here. A big receiver, a big defender. Definitely got the height advantage here. Particularly amongst these teams. Athleticism and speed is everywhere, but height's a bit of a rarity. Just comes in for the Singaporeans. They open with that around break. Oh, can't quite keep her footing there. Cheryl Ng swings wide, finds the front of stack. Great patience there, waiting for an open look. Oh, Cheryl again, just knocking on the door. Oh, and throws to a contest there. Defense. This is the classic Filipino defense, coming in real fast, putting a physicality and pressure on there, able enough to generate a turn.
And just a little note on, there was a travel there by the thrower, but which was called by the Philippines defense, but it, because of the following turnover, they left the call as it was. Philippines have just turned over again.
Just a bit of an execution there. Throw a little bit behind a player. Singapore with a short field to work here. Zulkifli picking up the disc. Ooh, looking for a break there. Looking again. Great patience with the disc here. Looks like there might be a fast count called.
Still coming in on 6? Okay.
Already resolved. Coming in on 6. Oh, the break throw goes up. Oh, and it's just a bit too high. Cheryl Ng couldn't close her hands around that one.
Yeah, she was right there. She had her hand on it, just didn't clamp it on quite tight enough. Philippines going up the side. Got Chango with the disc, squeezing it up. They're working it all the way up the sideline here. Every throw gone for the end zone. Number 25, not quite in. Pulls it down, Rodil. Nice swing to get that disc central. Waiting patiently for an option. And they've found one who... Escaso wasn't quite in, so she takes it back to the line, finds Gonzalez. They've got another one on the board, starting that comeback up that hill. Talking of hills, there are hills and mountains and other gorgeous areas around Western Australia, which can be visited by anyone at any time they so choose, if they have the resources. To help you with the resources, you can have a chat with STA Travel, who are a sponsor of the tournament. They can maybe do you a sweet deal on your travel arrangements around WA or around Australia. They're our official travel partner and you can visit them anytime.
Absolutely. Perth's a wonderful destination. I've been here for a couple of weeks before and after the tournament and would highly recommend it. It's beautiful weather all the time, as long as you like a lot of sun.
Yeah, if you like it a little bit cooler, you could head down to the south coast, which has the most clear water, the whitest sands. There's near Esperance, there's a beach called Lucky Bay where kangaroos are so tame that they hang out. I was there with WA Frisbee veteran JD the other week, and he actually ended up spooning a kangaroo, but it's not recommended most of the time, but those Lucky Bay kangaroos are quite relaxed.
Amazing. Always good to experience the Australian wildlife. As the Singaporean team has about half field to work here. Philippines setting a zone. Zulkifli, the captain here. Generally, this offense looking calm and patient as they're working down there here. This Filipino zone, a much more traditional zone. 3 close to the disc, 3 across the middle, and 1 tall defender out the back guarding that deep shot. Amazing work from Catherine Lee to get that disc and move it forward with her momentum. As she's here, yep. Running in from the back of the cup, grabbing the disc and hopping it, throwing it before barely even settling. Just 1 foot on the ground, that's enough for a pivot. Catherine Lee with the disc again here, swinging it wide. Yi Kim with the disc. Philippines have transitioned to a match defense 1-on-1, and that's enough pressure to force that turnover from Yi Kim, looking for that inside break for the score.
Bautista, the tall Philippines player in the stack. Early cut up the line. And the inside break coming out again for Philippines. That looks like a little set play for them. It's working well. De Leon. Bautista. Left-handed Bautista finds a reset in De Leon. Lovely. Baliong from Uranus. And De Leon seem quite happy at the back.
Just like there's a bit of pick in the stack, they'll reset the positions. Possession will stay with the Filipinos.
Oh, and she stuck one deep. Number 13.
Oh, that's a
Bautista,
huge
unable
defensive
to pull it
effort. Unbelievable. Yanqing in the area, going up early, going up strong, making a play on that disc, getting 2 full hands to it. Getting the block. Oh, early inside break. Make it difficult to set this zone. Catherine Lee with the disc. Channeling this offense, getting every second pass at the moment. Moving well with the disc. The Filipino zone doesn't look comfortable. Just little inside breaks going through the cup, really punishing it. Man calls from the sideline coming. They'll be transitioning to a match defense. Geraldine Lee with a disc, advances it up the field. Great patience here. They know how to work against this. Oh, beautiful inside breaks. The backbone of the Singaporean offense here. Catherine Lee with the disc again. Slots that in. Finds Yi Kim for the easy goal. And that is clinical. Philippines getting almost all the way again. They're 90% of the way there. They've had blocks in the end zone, a couple of drops in the end zone, but they are there constantly, always close. Singaporeans just that little bit better. Just a little bit there, just enough to get the block, and then absolutely unstoppable. Catherine Lee throwing those inside breaks, putting our players out into space, making it look easy for the Singaporean team, getting it done, scoring those goals. They've extended their lead out to 9-4 now. This is a huge block here.
That was amazingly read, and she got up to contend with the tall Bautista.
Good to see. That's a good example of physicality in the ultimate there. Going up early, taking that space where the disc is, where Bautista would have needed to have been to grab that disc. But both players moving in roughly the same direction. A little bit of bump on the sides, but both players recognised that they were contesting that space, and that's all right. That sort of thing happens, and it was definitely safe. No one was injured. Singapore with his very spread defense here.
Gonzalez. Nice curly swing. Finds Weber. They're losing quite a bit of ground here. Taking some big dumps. But they're happy finding Resh, working it up the far sideline. Scarsa getting in there, being very active. Oh, that was a poorly executed little dump there.
Looks like there was a stall called, but doesn't matter. It was a turnover anyway.
It's probably why the throw wasn't as good as normal.
Got to rush it out at the end there.
Yep.
Singapore with a chance to go here.
Oh, Weber on the mark.
Finding that inside break. That's what they're looking for here as they swing wide. Find Lau with a disc. Bit of give and go action here. Sim at the front here. Oh, nice upline movement. Finds Natalie Lim. Just out the front. Got to use athleticism to get open. Oh, amazing work there. Great patience. Look off that open side. Move the play with a mark. Fake. Take an easy break shot. Finding go for that goal.
Something that the Philippines might want to think about going forward in their ultimate career is looking at maybe deciding on one focus on defense. At the moment, their marks are very active, but it's meaning that when they jump around and respond to pivots from the thrower, they're letting the inside out, which seems to be really advantaging Singapore. If they maybe just decide only to take out the insides, it could help them focus their attention and get more blocks. Popping down to Katie now on the sideline.
Just following on from what Haas was saying about that, I think something that we've noticed about the Filipino defense is that when they're doing a zone, they often will try switch it up to match defense when it's getting closer to the end zone, but it means that they're sometimes just scrambling to get their players in time, and it goes to the advantage of the Singaporean players.
Yeah, good observation, Katie.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the most effective defenses are a cohesive team defense. Just trying to be as athletic as possible and be as close as possible is usually not enough, particularly against a high level team like this one. Often you have to all decide to take away that inside break so that the downfield guarders are able to position themselves accurately, and it's play cohesively, play together, and we'll go that team defense. This Philippines going upwind here. We're going to get back into this game.
Philippines on offense in 31-degree temperatures. That's 88 Fahrenheit, 31 Celsius. And the run through D. Well read on the wing of the Singapore zone.
Singapore with a long way to go now. Very spaced out offense. A lot of cutters deep. Oh, but they found that inside shot. That's Cheryl with the disc. Great patience. Find Sandy around. Sandy. Zulfliki, the captain. Oh, that's tremendous defense.
She read that disc. She felt it coming. She turned and plucked. Number 42, Weber. highly contested throw there. Pulled down by Rodil. Working so hard. The Philippines upfield now, trying to find those, wait for those gaps to come. Singapore not making it easy here for the Philippines offense, but they have found a hole. Rodil asking her cutter to come in. There's a call.
Yeah, it looks like there's a little bit of bump on the mark. I think they'll be discussing whether or not the count was dropped or going.
Yeah. You can take the owl out of foul, but you can't take the mate out of ultimate.
Absolutely. Oh, that's an aggressive blade coming over the top. And not a bad look, but just difficult to get that throw to sit in the wind. Can be pushed down with that edge.
The wind is currently 14 kilometers per hour, but by mid-afternoon, which is, it's 12, just gone 12 now, by mid-afternoon it will be 34 kilometers per hour, so that's really going to rank up a bit. Got a huck here.
She was in the area. Queck was there, just couldn't quite get a hand at it, just stabbing a hand up, bumping the edge, the underside of the disc there. Long way to go for the Philippines.
Oh! Just laid a little bit late there on D.
Oh, laying
Not
at
this
exactly
time.
the right time there. Getting into the space early, coming through. Looked like an amazing block, but definitely a bit of bump, and the players will chat about whether it was all disc or a bit of hand and a bit of disc, as we can see on this replay here. Oh, difficult to tell. A lot of gloves, a lot of hands in the area there.
Linda, the game advisor, helping out.
Looks like that's a contested foul. Looks like that one will go back.
Oh, sorry, that was Shui. Julie, the game advisor. Apologies for getting game advisor's name. Still haven't got it right.
Singaporean zone set now. This is where they want them. Oh, great grab off a difficult shot.
Oh! The Philippines back in the game, scoring through Weber.
It's 10-5 Singapore. Philippines going upwind there against the zone. They might have worked it out there. That's what they've needed to be doing. But they've worked it when they needed to and pulled down those aggressive shots over the cup. Can be interesting to see. If the Philippines can get a block and put it in now, that'll really put them ahead. Close this gap, getting on a run, and then they have to replicate their upwind success again. So, absolutely not out of the game yet. Exciting signs of life from this Filipino team. Look like they know what needs to be done, if they can get it done. But it's all about consistency in this game of Ultimate here. Singaporeans starting on offense, looking to go upwind here. See if they can do it without turning the frisbee, then they'll be able to lock the Filipino teams out of the game. Going to be interesting to see whether or not the Philippines come down in a zone look or a matched one-on-one look here. They've had a decent amount of success with their zone looks, but going upwind, they're going to need to be able to shut down these inside breaks. Singaporean team generating a lot of movement, opening up a lot of space with those looks. Let's see if they can adapt.
Ball just gone out the sideline here.
Singapore team with the option to take it on the sideline or from the brick mark. Looks like we're taking the sideline here. It's fearless leader Catherine Lee with the disc.
Got a poach in the lane from Philippines.
She's got it again, moving rapidly, fearlessly up the disc, moving into the center here, finding the holes in this Philippine zone. Confidently, patience here, changing a match here. Oh, and that's just quickly gathered up by Yi Kim and then slotted in to Su Lee for the goal there. Singapore never really looked under pressure there. Pushed all the way up the field, slicing and dicing. Catherine Lee able to get it moving, immediately coming in off that sideline, and then just the Philippine zone too spaced out. A lot of holes in there, and Singapore ruthlessly penetrating and punishing there. Filipino defense needs to find something here. They need to be able to stop this quick disc movement. It's not the skills that are letting them down. It's not the athleticism. It's just their spacing and strategic choices here. Coaching staff for the Philippines will be scrambling to find something here as the Singaporeans extend their lead.
Philippines have decorated their faces with their national flag. Hopefully by the end of the week they won't have a paler little rectangle on their cheek. Although if they do, then when they go back to work or university or whatever they spend their time doing outside of the Frisbee bubble, I guess it'll make a good story. People will ask, what is that pale patch on your cheek?
Did you know recently I was representing my country? That's a great story.
That's right. Philippines working it up, looking punchy. Gonzalez moving. Escobar to Gonzalez again. Gochango. Back to Gonzalez. Gonzalez to Gochango. As a handler, you get the Frisbee a lot during a game of Ultimate, increasing the chance of turnover, but making you more comfortable on the Frisbee. Whereas upfield, fewer touches, making it harder to be safe sometimes. Higher pressure. Oh, towed that one in, but there was a travel call on the throw. Interesting to see what happens here. All of the players are in a 15 by 15 metre square block on the field here. Doesn't leave a lot of space around the disc, so they might want to stretch somewhat. And we've got a big one over the top, gets macked and pulled down by a very happy Gonchango, who gets a big wrapping hug from her teammate. They are pleased to be hitting 6 points.
Absolutely. I can believe that. The Philippines have gone upwind again. That's good. They're able to work against that zone. I think it's interesting to see the different approaches they've taken to working through the zone. The Singaporean team punching through the middle, rapidly moving the disc, never letting the zone set, whereas the Philippines team doing a lot more resetting and swinging behind the disc and then taking aggressive big shots, particularly over the top to number 42, Weber. She's been a good receiver in that wing space for them.
Yeah, it was an interesting choice to throw an angled flick throw into the wind, and I think normally without so much wind it would have probably hit her receiver a bit more quickly, but she was lucky in that the Singapore defender couldn't quite pull that down, you know. Catch your Ds is a favourite catchphrase that people like to spout around the Ultimate scene. If you don't catch it, there's still a chance for the other team to complete the possession.
Absolutely. The disc is never down until it's well under the ground. You can always dig it up.
Under the ground like a wombat, one of Australia's fine animals.
Absolutely. All right, it's been a lot more consistent offense here in the second half. Both teams able to complete more passes and generate more. As the Singaporean team is getting going again. Catherine Lee with the disc. She's been amazing for them. Taking the options. Geraldine Lee there. Finds Yi Kim. Back to Geraldine. Back to Catherine Lee. Oh, and swung it across to the sideline there. Geraldine Lee with a disc. Dinks it in. Down to Chua. That'll take the Singaporeans up. Yet another goal, bringing them closer to the end of this game here.
Just a bit of confusion over the score. We're just taking that down while we're figuring it out. And just want to correct the name of the game advisor that I was struggling to get correct earlier. My apologies. Our two game advisors today are Uni and Ollie, who are doing a great job. It's a very tough gig out there in the hot weather. You've got to be out there all week concentrating, just like the Ultimate players, but without the physical outlet. They get to do a little bit of sprinting up and down, a lot of walking, but I imagine that that might feel a little more tiring than running hard and resting. Very impressed with the game advisors.
Absolutely. Volunteering their time to help the game run smoothly and just assist the flow of one of Ultimate's most unique and most treasured aspects. The spirit of the game and the self-officiation is what makes this truly a great sport.
Philippines, oh no, looking for another goal. They've found a sneak up into an open space and they've gone for a big backhand. Jaspio tried to get down on the ground and I'm not sure if she was going to do a little plank to get that, but it was out of reach. Singapore turnover straight away.
His leading pass is going downwind, a tough.
Philippines get another chance going up the line. Rodil has the disc in the corner. Goes for the dump. Confidently pulled down by Weber. Swings to Gonchango. Back to Weber. Oh, and they've punched another one in!
Here we go. I can feel the run coming here.
Yes.
That's 12-7 Singapore. They've still got a good lead here, but Philippines are looking strong. Coming aggressively into the second half of this game. They've managed to score upwind twice now. They're looking better. They might have worked out what needs to be done here. They're changing a lot. Singaporean team absolutely still in this, though. Putting a lot of pressure on. And they'll be coming out on offense here, looking to go upwind. If they can complete this goal, they'll be one step closer. But the Philippine defense is amped up. They're here. They're ready to go. They'll be looking to get a block here. They're putting some big lines out. They can smell it. Just going to see if they're going to bring a different defense or look to do the same again. This might be a good time for the Philippine defense to throw something wacky. If they've got an ace up their sleeve, a new zone that they haven't played yet, might be the time for it. Throw the Singaporean team off balance, try and get a sneaky block on the short field and then put that one in. Could really be exactly what the doctor ordered.
Rob, how have Singapore's games gone so far this tournament prior to this one?
Came in with two real tough games against the US and Canada. Went down in some tough, hard-fought games. And then with a good, solid 15-9 win over New Zealand.
Wow.
Absolutely no slouch themselves, so the Singaporean team is strong. And they'll be looking to close this game out as soon as they can.
Philippines got a...
Resetting to Geraldine Lee on the sideline here. Catherine Lee in the centre. The cannon for this team. Finds Ye Kim.
Block from 25. Rodil. Is it a call?
Game advisor signalling that a foul has been called by the players. Talk about whether or not the contact affected the gameplay. Looks like it's contested, it's going back. Possession remains with Singapore.
Quick shout out to the crew making this broadcast happen. They are doing a tremendous job. I don't know how they concentrate on all the sounds coming in and out of their ears, but they're making this happen, and how good is it getting access to this incredible ultimate at the World Under 24 Ultimate Championships of Woofdoof?
Absolutely. It's picks being called, but we're seeing a lot of countries and up-and-coming nations like the Philippines, like Singapore. Singapore have just developed into a massive force on the international stage lately. And we're in. Singapore effectively resetting here. Oh, that's an inside break. Oh, and it's picked off. This Philippine defense is coming for it.
Can Philippines put this one back in? They're pretty close to their end zone. They've gone for the quick option. It's floating. It's been knocked by the D, but it's been pulled down by number 25, Rodell again, the captain. That was a great read, a great grab. She's having a rest on her knees because she's got some puff out of her chest.
That's unbelievable. These Filipinos, they are bringing some tight defense here. They are getting the blocks. They are doing what needs to be done to make this happen. Unbelievable. That's 2 match goals in a row, and they are on the run here. This goal line is getting tighter and tighter. It's 12-8 now. There's not a lot in it here. These blocks are coming just from the inches, and the Philippine team are getting amped. They're getting fired up, and that's what's bringing those defense. It's what's bringing those blocks. It's what's keeping them in this game.
Do not go to sleep during this this broadcast. I don't care what time it is, wherever you are, stay awake. I feel a Filipino comeback. How do the Singapore team feel, I wonder?
That's a brilliant block. She was in the right place, in the right space, but just not quite the right touch on it there. That's all right. The Singapore team here, a little bit rattled. Dropped a few in a row. But here they go, looking to hold, going downwind here. They've got about nearly 2/3 of the field to go. Catherine Lee picking up the disc. Good swing, finds Yi Kim. Swings around, Chua with the disc now.
Weber on the mark.
Oh, and that's a run-through block again. The Philippines defense is here, they're making it happen.
Resh with the block, can she complete? Oh my gosh, double happiness for Resh!
That's 3 tipped goals in a row. The Philippines are in this game, they are coming for it. Absolutely. It's 12-9 now, barely 3 points in it.
What's it feeling like down on the sideline, Katie?
There is so much excitement, particularly from the Filipino girls, and that's why they say the phrase, catch your Ds, because there's 3 goals in a row the Filipino girls have gotten tipped off by a Singaporean D, and they have just kept bidding for that disc and never given up, and that has just shown. The energy levels have definitely risen with the Filipino girls. Let's just see what have a couple of them to have to say. How excited are you girls about that goal? I think that gives you the general idea. They are excited, they are happy, and they are back in this game.
Well said by Weber there. I think we might need to get a hashtag trending, catch your Ds, to help the Singapore team out.
That's all right. I think as much as we can say the Singaporean team is there, they're getting these blocks, it is absolutely to the Filipino team credit that they are staying with it. They are buying in, they're not giving up, and that's why they're getting these goals. It doesn't matter how it happens. It ain't pretty, but it works. Filipino team coming down on defense here. It's 12-9, and they are on the run.
Filipinos singing a song on the sideline. Rousing, rousing.
Advancing the disc up here. Singaporeans looking good, trying to get it done. Backing themselves, backing their players. Catherine Lee with the disc. I buy those fakes any day of the week. Sue Lee with the disc here. Catherine Lee in a paddock of space. Moves upfield. She's got Geraldine Lee with the disc now. Looks off Catherine. Resets. Catherine Lee with the disc again. Every second pass at the moment. She's getting it done. Geraldine Lee out the front. Catherine Lee again. She'll make it happen. Geraldine again. They've got patience. They're getting it here. Oh, that's a bit floaty. Oh, but that's absolutely perfectly reeled in.
She beautifully laid that out in front, so the oncoming Filipino defense didn't have a chance, really.
Absolutely. This is just absolutely in the right space, at the right time. Yun Qing sprinting down, getting that goal.
Good answer to the energy that the Philippines were bringing after their little mini run of 3 points.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good charge that they're bringing here, and it's amped them up. They're still in this game. It's good for the Singapore team to get a clinical hold like that, stabilizing, and that's really what you want. out of your star player like Catherine Lee, getting it done. Your captain taking responsibility, getting every second pass, advancing the disc up there, being calm, collected, and putting that one in. Stabilizing here. Singapore, where they want to be now on defense. Philippines got to go the full field upwind here.
We've got close to 1,000 viewers watching right now, and they're all chatting away. Lots of support for both teams. The fans are out there watching. Let's see what the rest of the game holds for you supporters.
Absolutely, I'm sure it's going to be a cracker however it goes. This Philippine team shows no signs of rolling over.
Still 12 minutes left of normal time.
But of course, in this beautiful game of Ultimate, you got to score to win. This Philippine team advancing the disc here.
She doesn't have many options right now. She's gone for the hammer, but it was slightly out of reach.
Singapore with about half the field to go. Sim looking to pick up the disc here.
Jessica Resch on the mark after her double happiness a couple of points ago.
Diagonal stack from the Singaporeans.
Inside
Oh,
comes.
dropping down on her knees, getting that inside breakout.
Oh! We've got an immediate block by Just Bio. She didn't know it was coming until it was in her hands. She made sure it was down.
It's good. Learn from the mistakes of your opposition.
That's right. Well, she didn't catch it, but she did thrust her hands downwards very firmly. Open swing. Picked up nicely by Gonchango. Sorry, by Gonzalez.
Looks like there's a call. And the disc is in again.
Weber. Resch. Gonchango finds Resch again. Resch with the big fake. Oh, just slightly missed. Held onto that disc a little bit too long. Singapore walking slowly to restart on their offense.
Singapore, just a couple of miscues there from the Filipino team. Singapore bringing it in. Let's go Jamie going deep. Looks off the early deep strike, goes for the safe one to Lau. Goes wide. Natalie Lim with the disc now.
Can the fitness of the Philippines come through?
Goes wide. Lau with the disc close to the sideline here. Brilliant centering pass to Yanqing. Oh, amazing grab.
Lovely.
Oh, looks off that early goal. Good patience. Make sure of it. She's with Natalie Lim now.
And another running D onto the dump. Escasa gets this one, the youngest player, 17-year-old. Popping her head up again. She had a big presence early in the game, went a bit quiet for a bit. She is back.
Some of the players looking pretty gassed now. It's been a long game, a long point. It's very hot. Let's see if they can outlast and play strong and fast to the end here.
These long points are a real test of an ultimate player. Oh, one-handed option there. Interesting choice, unfortunately a bit of a drop.
It's coming in a bit fast, but here we go. Singaporean team visibly gassed here. Taking a bit of time to walk to the disc. Sim picking up. Looks off that early big shot. Resets to a jinking Lim. Back to Sim with the disc. Finds a huge inside. Oh, and it's floating. Can she? Oh. Yeah, it's just a bit too much. I think that throw was a lot higher than she anticipated. Over the head of some of her receivers there.
I'm loving the effort in all of these under-24 games. There's so many bids. Even when the disc seems like it's nearly down, everyone is leaping for them. There's none of this giving up on the disc anymore. These days, you've got to try for everything. And we've got a huck. It's a little bit too big, even for a last-ditch attempt.
Jamie Lim in the area. Using that height, patrolling that deep space.
Gonchenko on the
Singapore
mark.
looks to go the other way. Let's pick it up and call a timeout.
Just making sure that the disc was coming in play at the right spot where the disc went out of bounds.
This has been a tight one. I mean, this is a really crucial point here. I would say the Philippines get this one, and then it's 10-13. It's within 3 points, absolutely within striking distance, but Singapore managed to hold this downwind offense, squeeze this one in. That'll be bring them to game point.
I think Singapore will be enjoying a bit of a rest. They were starting to look a little bit tired.
Moving around the field here. Got to make sure that disc is coming in the right position. Don't want to have a travel called on you. You might want to travel, though, with STA, one of our sponsors here, the official domestic flight partner of the Under-24 Ultimate Championships. Go to their site, get some great deals. Would advise it. They can take you to and from Perth. Show you anything you like. Coming in here, Singapore team setting extremely deep here. See Sim coming in with a disc. The cutters are all very far away here. Potentially looking for a super early deep strike. Does she have the cannons for it? I don't doubt it. What's the team strategy though?
Interesting to stretch it so deep. It leaves less time to lay the frisbee up into the end zone. It has to be more of a pinpoint throw, but it looks like they're looking short.
So that might be a violation called. And this is coming in on 5. Oh, quick reset, nice move. Back to the disc. Natalie Lim. Oh, there's pressure there. Manages to pull that one in. Lim with a disc. Centers again, Natalie Lim. She's got a Yanqing with a disc. Back to Natalie Lim. She's looking strong behind the disc here. Back to Yanqing, resetting well. Got to make sure not to be clogging those lanes. Finds that inside break in the power position. Heading towards that break side there. Quek with a disc. Back to Natalie Lim. Getting every other at the moment. Back to Natalie Lim again. There's some great give-go movement here. Oh, looks off that around. Gets that around break. Looks staring down the barrel of a goal here. Great resetting from the Singaporean team. And that's just an execution area out the front there. Athletic bids, not enough to dig it up out of the ground.
Got to keep that wrist pointing to the sky at all times when you're throwing your forehand. Should be a bit disappointed at that. Philippines. Resh on the disc. Finds the inside break, but does not complete.
Picked off by Yanqing. She's got that athleticism. She's got that read on the play. Jamie Tan just out the front. And it's just out the front. Again, so close. And that's the discipline. That's the patience. That's Paizen Lim to Quek for the goal there. That brings the Singaporeans to game point. That's 14-9. And go upwind here for the game.
Oh, bit of just some friendly high fives between the teams.
I think this is a great game. It's obviously very tight, emotions running high, but underneath everything this game is the respect for the opponent and for what you're doing. You know that they are here because they want. If they're going to win, it's because they are better at the game. They're giving it their all, and you can respect when they do good things. You can see that they're giving it their all. They're sprinting around. They're busting the gut, and you're doing the same as well. And if you see that the opponent's getting the better of you here, you know it's because they're better at the game, because they've just got a bit more experience or just a few more execution areas that, you know, you can respect that in an opponent. There's nothing malicious about it. It's good to see. There's always lessons to learn.
Yeah, I'm sure that the Philippines players have seen a lot of frisbee in in their home country. The Boracay Open is a very popular mixed tournament held, I think, every year in the Philippines.
On the island of Boracay, it's a beautiful place, and some great beach ultimate goes there. A lot of beach ultimate gets played in the Philippines. They're truly a force at the Beach World Championships.
Philippines looking to keep this game alive. They need to get this goal, otherwise the game will be over. Tachula lays it off to De Leon in a very tight spot on the sideline. Around a close zone. She's found her forehand. Oh, and just goes over the reach of Santos.
That's what they've been breaking the zone with thus far. Those big, deep cutters getting into space and looking for those aggressive blade shots over the top. It's good that they're still looking for that. That's what's worked for them thus far, and that's how they're going to keep going through the rest of this. As the Singaporean team knocking on the door of a win here. Shoots long. Oh, Jamie Tan underneath, but she can't. Jamie Lim, sorry, can't quite pull that one in.
She was sucked in a little by the defense. Could have run a bit further before she tried to catch that, but good to get in the contest. Number 25 sticks it with a big curling backhand. I'm not sure who she was aiming for there, but it went way too deep for anyone. Either way, they've got it back into the front of the end zone, so Singapore have to work the whole field in order to finish this game.
It's a position you want to be in here. Looking for a win.
Great shot down D.
Oh, shutdown D results in an early shot. Oh, Jamie Lim, too tall. Singapore moving well here. Not quite the pace of earlier, but that's going to be enough to get them here. They're moving in the middle of the field. Cheryl with a disc with a great shot.
Singapore have done it.
And then Jamie Lim, sorry, and that's a great break. Nice, easy catch for go. And that's the game. And they are amped about it. That's been a great game, I think.
Absolutely.
A late surge from the Philippines team, absolutely to their credit. Pushing through, looking for that, but unable to bring it back close enough. Singapore team looking confident, looking strong. Playing really great ultimate all the way through. Able to close it out.
The Philippines will take a lot of positivity from that game. They had some incredible moments, and they didn't look out of reach, especially close towards the end there.
Absolutely not. I would expect them be excited about this result. A lot of lessons to be learned in this one. Just the right combination of successes and failures to learn from their failures as it's been and work out what works for them. Work out what they might be needing to change to stop plays like that. Singapore, absolutely to their credit, full of athletic plays, but more just such strong throws, able to execute difficult inside breaks under a lot of pressure, find those rounds and efficiently reset through their handlers.
Yeah. We're looking forward to seeing how high they can finish in this tournament.
Indeed. They've had some tough matchups against the USA and Canada and previously, but it's going to be good to see how they go against some other strong teams. They're 2 from 2 thus far. They've still got some powerhouses like Australia and Japan to come. Also, a lot that could happen later in this tournament, especially in the women's division, which is indeed just a round robin with the top 4 going through to semi-finals on the last day of play. So anything could change until then, and every game's important. Obviously, we can expect teams like the US and Australia to be in those semi-finals, but that 3rd and 4th spot, definitely contestable.
News from the another game in the women's division. The Colombia team beat the Australian Stingrays 15-11. So Columbia will be happy with that result. Just going to take you through a few highlights.
This is an amazing game between the Philippines and Singapore. A lot of clinical offense from the Singaporeans, combined with some athletic plays to make it happen when they needed to. Just getting a lot of breakthrows, a lot of great movement on the back of some of their more athletic players. Really putting on a clinic, able to hold their goals when they needed to, and just later in the game, a surge from the Philippines on the back of their athletic defenders, getting 3 or 4 in a row, but unable to bring back the deficit, and Singapore able to stabilize, hold out strong, and just quite unable to reel in a few there. Often the Philippines would have been about 90% of the way through the field, and just not able to convert just out the front of the end zone there. Definitely athletic, definitely got the skills, absolutely will be improving across the tournament, and will be looking to capitalize on some victories and find their place in this tournament. It's going to be a difficult one. This women's division is a round robin, so they'll be playing every other team here, and then sorting out their placings on the last day. It's been great to see. It's been absolutely a well-spirited and athletic competition between these two countries. Philippines developing and sending junior teams to this tournament for the first time, as is Singapore. Singapore just coming out with a win here on the back of some amazing plays.
I've been Claire Hussey.
I've been Rob Swan. Thanks for tuning in at this Under-24 Ultimate Championships here in Perth. More action to come throughout the week.